Hello and welcome to the Irish Music Show. I'm Pat Jordan, and tonight we've got a very special guest with us in the studio, and his name is Ged Graham. You're very welcome, Ged.
And I'm delighted to be here, Pat. It's a great pleasure.
Oh, good for you to come in. So, looks like, Ged, we're Monday. We're out of lockdown after all this time.
Fingers crossed. It looks like we'll be out of lockdown and be able to get back to what we like doing best, playing and gigging and acting the Egypt, you know. But we'll, God willing, it's been a long time. 14 months
15 months, yeah, indeed,
it's a long time.
Yeah,
so, I'm really looking forward to getting back out there.
Yeah. Well, Ged, tell us about the Irish connection.
Born in Dublin.
Yeah,
So born and raised in Dublin, in the Liberties, in the centre of Dublin on the south side, and was brought up with a family of people who sang, played instruments. There was always music in the house, always music around us. And after the bank strike, I don't know if for the older people might remember the big bank strikes in Ireland in 69, 70, my dad decided that we were going to relocate to Manchester because my mum's sister, my Auntie Maura, who's still with us in 95. She took welcome us into the house, and we stayed with her for a few months before we settled in Manchester and been here ever since. So deep Irish roots, and I think as being an immigrant coming into England, the roots and the connections remain strong throughout my life and very important to me.
of course. And what was the switch from Dublin to Manchester? Was it just the whole family?
It was the whole family, yeah. It was
yeah.
kind of, you know, the banks were on strike. My dad had a business over in Ireland. He couldn't run the business because the banks weren't open. So we decided that was the time to move, and we came to Manchester. And I've always viewed Manchester as being my home. I'm a very proud Irish Mancunian, and, you know, as proud as being a Mancunian as proud as I am being an Irishman.
Good man. Good man. So, the music, how do you get, like you were saying there, that of course the family was steeped in music,
Yeah.
so because you come from a musical family, the transition for you to become a musician was probably very easy.
Yeah, it was, because music was always in the house. You know, we were never a family of people who were shy to be singing or you know, performing. It was just a natural thing. My mother sang, she was in some of the feshes in Dublin, sort of got her certificates. My dad was a very keen singer. He actually performed with Danny Kaye out of the audience when he came over to Ireland. So music was always there, and I was very lucky in my grandmother's house, which was just off the Coombe in Dublin, RD Street. At the back of her backyard was the backyard of a fellow by the name of Tommy Potts, who was a renowned fiddle player. I mean, probably, if I dare say, Ireland's greatest fiddle player, in my opinion. So I could hear his music all the time. Music was around us. So my dad took me to see Brendan Boyer when I was about 4 years old. He was great friends with Brendan. And I was just amazed, you know, 4 years old, and just saw this show band thing going on. And it kind of blew me away, you know. And I think from that moment, that was the reason why I always thought, you know, I'd really fancy doing this, you know.
Great. And what was your first instrument, Ged?
My first instrument was learnt at school in Terranure, and it was the melodica and tin whistle. So that was beaten into us by the teachers. You know, they were very liberal with their handing out the ruler to the back of the knuckles when you got your fingers in the wrong position. So but that was the first thing. And what I remember really well was the big song at the time was Dana, All Kinds of Everything. She just won the Eurovision, and so we learnt that, and it was like, you know, it sounded like the record. It was great. So that was my first instrument, and then very quickly managed to get hold of a guitar, and but that was when we moved to England. So started playing the guitar when I was about 11, 12.
You're making me feel old there, Ged, because I was actually in Manchester and seen Dana perform that at the Carousel Club.
Wow.
All Kinds of Everything.
Yeah, it's great.
So I was old enough to get into the Carousel Club.
Oh, you're not that old, Pat, surely.
Oh, I am.
One of the great things was that years and years later, I managed to be able to play in Dana's band for a while. So that was a huge thing for me, from being brought up and being so proud when she won the Eurovision. It was just a great moment for everybody in Ireland. You know, we were like on the map musically, and to work with her in later years was fantastic. But as soon as that guitar came on the scene, the world changed for
Great.
me anyhow.
Yeah. So no more than myself, you've pounded the motorways of
Oh.
the UK and Ireland and beyond.
Yeah.
Of course, initially, the first time I got to know you, of course, with a band called The Borderline. So tell us a
Yeah.
bit about The Borderline
Oh,
and the
The
boys in The Borderline.
Yeah, it was. Sometimes you have to sort of blink to think that those years happened. But I went to school with Jimmy Prendergast. He was in the year above me at St. Peter and Paul's, and Pete Corbett was the drummer. He was in the same year as me, so I knew those two lads sort of growing up in school from being about 11 years old. They were off playing, I was doing my thing, and then I just come back from a tour with a band, and the band split up, and I was in the Midway on Stockport Road, and I was having a pint at the bar, and the bass player wasn't there. It was Curly Watts.
Curly Watts, of course, yeah.
Kevin Kennedy, and Pete Corbett said, "Do you fancy standing in?" So I said, "Well, not really, come for a night out." And I was kind of finished with music a bit at that stage. So anyhow, I got up, had a great time. Then they said, "Can you do next weekend? Can you do next weekend?" And then 12 years later, I was still with the band.
Good man. Yeah.
But I had a great time. It was great fun. We were young men. The world was our oyster, and the scene in Manchester, at that time, in this sort of 80s and 90s was, every club was full, every pub was full. It was just an amazing scene, the dance floors are full. You just done your opening number, and everywhere you had a great time. There was no such thing as a solo artist then, or a duo.
Oh, you've never heard of them?
Never, it was always a band. There was no backing tracks. There was, you had to know your stuff, and I really miss those days. I miss not only being young, but I miss the friendships that we had in those days. And then of course there was the band association that you were heavily involved.
That's right,
with.
yeah, Meba, Manchester Irish bands.
And we had some great nights on those dinner dances that we had and the gatherings. It was great to meet up with everybody. And unfortunately, you look down the list of all the bands, and so many have passed away, unfortunately. But,
as you said, it was good because Meba, you see, were the Manchester Irish. That's when the Manchester Irish Bands Association. We were all in competition with one another.
That's right.
But still great friends. Where we had a night out every year.
Yeah.
And when we all let our hair down and let somebody else from outside Manchester come and entertain us.
That's right. It was great.
And the wives and girlfriends, whoever at the time.
And you're right. There was a great competition between the bands, but everybody was very friendly. It was amazing because if an amp went down or your speakers went down, all you had to do was pick up the phone and everybody would help each other out, and it was great. And we'd be always nipping around to see what the other bands were playing as well, and trying to nick a song here and nick a song there, which was great. We used to nick loads of songs off you lads.
I don't know about that.
Oh, we did.
Now folks, we're going to watch a video of Ged Graham.
In a neat little town they call Belfast, apprentice a train I was bound, and a many a night of sweet rambling I spent in my sweet little town, till a terrible misfortune fell over me, took me away from me land, far away from the friends and relations, but stuck to the black velvet band. Let's hear you singing. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, they called her the queen of the land, with her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Do you remember this one? And no, they never all together. No, they never no more will I play the wild rover. No, never no more. I've been the wild rover for many a year, and I spent all my money on whiskey and beer. And now I've returned with gold in great store. Sure, I swear I will pay the wild rover no more. And it's no, they never all together. No, they never no more will I pay the wild rover. No, never no more. One last time. And it's no, they never on your own. No, they never no more will I play the wild rover. No, never no more will I play the wild rover.
I'm Daniel O'Donnell, and this is my new album, How Lucky I Must Be.
No wonder that I tell myself how lucky I must be.
Featuring 12 brand new tracks.
I know that God has angels watching over me. So take my gift of silver and wear my ring of gold. After all we've been through together, who'd believe?
How Lucky I Must Be. Available to order now.
Preserving your memories isn't expensive. It's priceless. Do you have precious family memories on video, cinefilm or slides? If you want to relive memories of your loved ones, some of whom may not now be with you, you need to transfer these onto DVD to ensure that they'll be watchable for many years to come. Here at Rich Video, we've specialised in preserving your irreplaceable footage for over 20 years onto DVD using the latest edit suites and authoring software. All our DVDs are fully authored with scene selections and come with personalised covers and printed discs with still images from your film, which provide a lasting memory for you and your family for generations to come. All the transfers are done in our studios based in Stockport. They're not sent away to be transferred by an outside source, unlike many other companies. If you require further information, please ring us on 0161 635 6207 or email us at sales@richvideo.co.uk, where your past is always present.
Well, Ged, from the borderline, you went solo.
I did, yeah.
But then you branched out into writing stage shows. So
I did.
Tell me about these stage shows,
Well,
because they've been hugely successful, haven't they?
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's not been too bad. I mean, I was very lucky. I auditioned for a part in an Irish show called Essence of Ireland, and I got the job. So I went on tour with that show for several years, and then as the show developed, I got more and more involved in the producing side of it. And then out of that, I co-wrote a show called Ireland's Call, which went on to tour in South Africa, and we've done tours in the UK. So that was kind of my debut writing that kind of show. I've always wrote music and always wrote, songs, but writing stage shows, that was my first into it. And then when that came to an end, I found myself, with not much work on, so I thought might as well write a show myself, and so I spent about a year working on 7 Drunken Nights, the story of the Dubliners. Wrote that, put it together, produced it, and it's been very, very successful. I went on to write another show, which was Carol, the music of Carol King, which toured in the UK just before lockdown, and I'm currently working on Fairy Tale of New York, Coming Home for Christmas, which is a Christmas-inspired Irish show. So yeah, very busy with the writing, very busy with producing, and enjoying myself doing it.
I'm just going to go back to the 7 Drunken Nights, because the Dubliners was obviously one of your influences as well, but it must have been beyond your wildest dreams when you sat down to write 7 Drunken Nights, how successful it's been, because I know you've packed out theatres all over Europe.
Yeah, we have.
I mean, and beyond.
Yeah, I mean, we've been really, really lucky. We put a lot of hard work in, and we've done my research and made sure that we were very authentic in how we presented the show, and also very careful of the feelings of the remaining Dubliners and the feelings of the families of the Dubliners who have passed away. So everything we do is from a love of the Dubliners. I'm a fan, so I wouldn't settle for anything that wasn't right and wasn't correct to do. And so we sold out, as you say. We played the West End in London. We're back out on tour, hopefully in October of this year. We're doing the Adelphi Theatre in the West End, which is Andrew Lloyd Webber's theatre, one of his theatres. So we toured in Holland, sold out in Holland, Belgium. We played in Dublin, we played in Belfast, played all over Ireland. We got sort of Australia, New Zealand on the horizons, Germany's on the horizon, America's on the horizon, so we just got to get back to work. But I just love the fact that we can get out and play and sing, sing the songs. There's nothing better than going out and singing the songs you love singing.
Tell me, Ged, what's it like to play in your adopted city of Manchester and get a standing ovation?
It was mental because all of my family were there. My kids, they put up with me. They put so just Dad doing his thing. You'll have the same thing with your kids. Dad's out again. What does he actually do? And even my mother-in-law still doesn't think I have a proper job. She always says to me, "When are you going to get a proper job?" I was going to say, "Una, I have got a proper job." So to come and play in front of your family and your friends and show them what you've actually been doing for the last sort of couple of years, and then to get standing ovation for it. I mean, we sold out the Opera House in Manchester. We sold out the Palace Theatre, which is just amazing. 2,300 people on the feet at the end of a show. It's a great buzz. It's a wonderful feeling. But then you got to when the curtains close, you've got to get the gear out. You got to load up the truck.
Absolutely.
You got to just delighted to get home.
People don't see what goes on behind the scenes.
No.
Like I say, you pound the motorways of the UK and beyond. And it is tough going. I mean, people always see this about musicians. They see up on stage or say a 2 hours show or something like that, and they think
that's it. People
think that is it. A glamorous life.
Yeah, well,
but there's a lot of hard work goes into
it's
it.
Far from glamorous.
Glamorous, yeah.
Tell you at 4 o'clock in the morning on the motorway services when all you can get is a gangster's pie. That's not glamorous.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Yeah. So, with the exception, we had him in a couple of weeks ago, Billy Barton, of course. Oh. We had Billy. He's a member of
he is.
Who else is involved in the?
Well, we have an ever-changing cast, but we've got Billy. Of course, was my first port of call when I was putting the show together. I knew that I wanted him in the show. He'd already retired from music, so I went round to his house and persuaded him. I don't think he really understood what it was I was doing or what he was getting himself into. But when those curtains opened on the first night to a sold-out theatre, it kind of hit him what he was getting involved with. So we got Billy Barton, we've got Danny Muldoon, who was born in Manchester, but his parents are from Wicklow.
Yeah, my home county, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And I think is, Wicklow and Mayo. We got a guy called Ben Gunnery, who's our fiddle player. And Ben is born in Dublin, brought up in London, so he's part of the London Irish traditional musician scene, but he's also a trained classical musician. He is world class, he's great. We have a guy called Adam Evans who's based in Birmingham. Adam comes on and he's great fun to be with. So we've got a great cast of people, very like-minded, wonderful people to get on with, and they've all got a great passion for the music, which is perhaps the most important thing.
Right, and of course with a big show like that, you've got then lots of other techos and things like that. We do.
I mean, we have a full crew, front of house engineers, monitoring engineers, lighting engineers, and then we have our crew and a local crew. So all in all, 16 of us travel together, to put the show up every night. So
yeah, of course you've got to set the stage up as well. You have the props.
We do.
Yeah,
I mean it's a fully produced stage show. So we have a bar, which is very similar to O'Donoghue's.
Yeah.
We have a recording studio, various other props and things. So it's a big production, and we have to put that in every night, take it down every night, load the truck. And get on our way for the following night's performance. So we average sort of 6 shows a week on a normal week. On a tour, usually a 10-week tour. So by the end of it, we're glad to see the back of each other, but we can't wait then to get back together again for the next tour.
Well, I've got to admit, I haven't had the chance because when you planned the Manchester gigs, I was on the road with my band working.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to take in the 7 Drunken Nights somewhere along the lines because from the feedback I'm getting from people who are involved, it's a phenomenal show. Of course, I'm into the Dubliners myself. I always have been into the Dubliners as well. Do a lot of Dubliners in my own show, and it's really, really, really good. But
yeah, I mean the band are so influential worldwide, and they I think they are the spiritual godfathers of Irish music. And we're just blessed to be able to go out and do their material every night and stay true to the spirit of what they were doing. So yeah, it's a great privilege to go out and do that music every night.
Well, Ged, I believe recently had some very important or great news come through.
Yeah, very exciting news, Pat. And we've been talking with Tourism Ireland
Yeah.
For quite a number of months, and we finally reached an agreement. So we're going to be touring not only the UK, being in association with Tourism Ireland, but also overseas. So it's a great accolade for us to have the endorsement of, you know, the National Tourist Board of Ireland, and we have a shared kind of vision. We want to promote the island of Ireland to people around the world, and to promote the idea of Ireland being a destination to go to for your holidays and for leisure, because there's no greater country in the world. For anybody who's been to Ireland or comes from Ireland, you know that the welcome home is extended to all visitors. It's a wonderful country to have been born in, to having running through your veins, but also the pride that we have of telling people how wonderful our country is and how wonderful the island of Ireland is, and to encourage them to come and visit and see for themselves why 80 million plus around the world claim Irish heritage.
Correct.
For one reason alone, because we enjoy life, we enjoy what we do, we're very welcoming people, and we want to welcome people onto the island of Ireland, especially after COVID.
Of course.
You know, if you want to have a great time, you know, go to Ireland, enjoy it, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the food, enjoy the people, enjoy the crack.
Yeah.
So we're, you know, more than delighted to be touring in association with, and the blessings of Tourism Ireland. So great news, both the 7 Drunken Nights and our sister show, which is Fairy Tale in New York. So yeah, we're delighted, very exciting times for us.
Well, Ged Graham, it's been great to have you in studio tonight, and you've had a wide and varied career, but is there any magical moment that really stands out?
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many that I've been proud of doing, but probably the most standout moment was walking onto stage in the West End in London. That was, you know, something that I never ever thought I'd be able to achieve, and to do it with an Irish show was, you know, was amazing, because it's very rare an Irish show appears in the West End. You know, I can't think of anything. Even Riverdance didn't appear in the West End. Lord of the Dance did, and I think beyond that there was only Lord of the Dance and 7 Drunken Nights, Stories of Dubliners, has had West End appearances. And as I said before, we're delighted to be invited to play at the Adelphi Theatre, which is one of Andrew Lloyd Webber's theatres, in October. So hopefully I'll get the same kind of feeling that I got. So, you know, coming from Dublin and coming from very working class roots, and it was something that was on my bucket list that I never ever thought I'd achieve. But yeah, that's probably the standout moment.
Right. Now, Ged, as a man that has been there, done that, and got the T-shirt, what advice would you have for any youngsters coming into the music business today? Well,
first of all, if you're going to come into it, enjoy yourself. You know, that's my biggest regret would have been taking everything for granted and not enjoying the moment. So enjoy the moment. But the best advice was given to me when I was 14, when I went semi-professional, and that is turn up on time, turn up knowing the material that you need to know, and keep your mouth shut. Those were the 3 bits of advice that was given, and I followed that advice pretty much all my career. I've always made sure I turn up on time, that I know my stuff, and that I don't speak out of turn, because you can lose more jobs by giving your opinion. So that would be the best advice to any musician, and just enjoy yourself. Music chooses you. You don't choose music. For better or worse, Pat, it's chosen me and you. And we're still here at our ages going
indeed,
and walking out and going, thank God, you know, when we were so small that it chose us to be part of it.
Yeah.
For that, I'm blessed to be chosen to do music.
Ged Graham, it's been a great pleasure having you on the show.
And a pleasure being with you, Pat.
And continued success in everything you do.
Thank you very much.
Well, folks, that's the end of this week's show, and stay safe, look after yourselves until the next time.